This is the EasySMX X05 wireless controller, and it is a multi-platform controller. Now, this does actually come in 3 different colorways. You've got oyster white, this one, and then like a black and pink one that I really wish they sent me, but they didn't. They sent me the lime one, which is cool. So obviously the box tells you all about it. So there we have it. We've got the actual controller itself. We get a USB-A to USB-C charging cable. We get a manual, but yeah, we get some random football thumbsticks. But anyway, this is the X05 controller. So I'm just gonna go off the bat and tell you exactly how much this is, and it's £25 here in the UK. 25 quid, that's so cheap. That's probably $25 for US, but it's got some really good specs. So straight off the bat, I just want to tell you the specs. So we do have Hall effect sensing joysticks with RGB anti-friction rings, Hall effect analog triggers, 5 levels of rumble. We've got 5 levels of RGB LED modes, including off as well. We do have turbo. There's 3 different ways of actually connecting this system, including a 1000 Hertz polling rate option for wired. So that's really good. If you play wired, you're gonna get 1000 Hertz polling rate. If you play, I think it's by the 2.4 gigahertz dongle, which I forgot to take out of the packaging. I think it's 250 Hertz via this. But yeah, so you do actually get the dongle included. Don't do what I did and just like leave it out of the packaging. It's super easy to do. You've just got this switch on the back. So you've got 3 different modes just there. You've got like a little dongle symbol. It's just like a weird little pen looking thing. It's meant to replicate the end of that. And then you've got Bluetooth, and then you've got Nintendo Switch. So you can actually swap between those. However, I'm not going to use this on my Switch because it's got an Xbox layout and I can't physically remove the buttons around, so it's kind of annoying. So I just see this as a PC controller. But I mean, you can use it on the Switch, it's up to you, but for me, I just wouldn't. And that's why we've got the Asus ROG Ally X in front of me, because that's how I've been using it, but we've also been using it on the Steam Deck OLED as well. And using the dongle, which is actually what I've been doing, is super easy. So if I get my ROG Ally X here, which is actually Asus's, they're gonna ask for it back anytime now, but I have actually put a pre-order in because it's amazing. If you want to see more videos about the Asus ROG Ally X, well, check the channel out because we've got loads of them. But anyway, this is the Ally X. I'm gonna get my dongle, which I've just put into an A to C adapter just there, and I just plug it into the top like so. It's gonna start flashing. I'm gonna turn on the controller like so. It's gonna vibrate to say, hey, I'm on, and then, oh look, I'm now on in the Ally X, which is awesome. So really happy with that. The dongle works really nicely. And you can see the RGB LED effects as well. They're really bright, and you've actually got different stages as well. You can change the brightness, you can change the colors as well. I've got them on this kind of like really light kind of shifting color mode, but yeah, we'll go over that and more in a minute. But yeah, the controller itself is this. It's a nice shape. It's kind of a mixture between like a rounded Xbox controller and almost like a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. That's like the vibes I'm getting just from the like funny little rounded like shoulder buttons and the kind of like curvature of the whole thing. That's just how I'm like feeling it. But it's nice. It's very simple. There's not loads going on. I like that it's pretty simple design. We've got like etched backing here for grip as well. There's no back paddles on this one, so none whatsoever. There is the O button, and oh my god, I have no idea what it does. I can't find it in the manual. I've tried every button combination I could think of, thinking maybe it's a macro record instead of having those back paddles. I don't know what it is, so yeah, we've got a button that does nothing. On top of the oh my god button, we've got a macro button, which is not for macro, it's actually for turbo, as well as other effects. So it's not like a normal M button, which is generally stands for macro, and then you can record an input, like a series of inputs, and put it to a button. That's not what this does. This just does turbo and then changes stuff like rumble, vibration, and turbo speed and things like that. There's no macro. Then we get start, select, and then we've got the home button, which is pretty cool. And it was actually waking up the Ally X just here from sleep. So this is a Windows PC, right? And if I put it into sleep, let's see if it works now, right? I was doing this earlier. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go and do something now. And then the controller like turned off. Oh, look, there we go. So I just pressed the home button and it's like, oh, hi, like, you know, log in. So cool. That's cool. But other than that, there's no like player indication LED, so you can't see like which number of player you are. You know how sometimes there's like 1 to 4 little tiny LEDs. There's none of that on here. It is just kind of like what it is. But again, this is a really budget controller. And to be perfectly honest, I'm really surprised by the build quality. And one of the first things I do when I get a budget controller is I rattle it. And there is a tiny bit of rattle, but I can't really tell where it's from. I actually think it's from a tiny bit of looseness around the joystick caps, because if I like hold the caps lightly, right, and shake it, no rattle whatsoever, none of the buttons rattle, nothing like that. If I do this, you could just hear there is a slight bit of rattle, and I think it's just a bit of the joystick cap kind of like rattling a little bit. But I mean, to be perfectly honest, for such a budget controller, the thing feels nice, you know. I would have said this is like a 35 to 40 pound controller if I was just given it and said like, oh yeah, have a feel of this, what do you think? I'd be like, yeah, that's like the next step up, when actually it's like right sort of bottom tier, really, you know. So let's just kind of go over everything as it stands, right? So first of all, I'm actually going to turn the controller off, otherwise I'm just going to be pressing loads of stuff on the ROG Ally X. So now that it's off, let's have a look. So the face buttons actually protrude quite a decent amount, you know. There's a lot of protrusion there on these buttons, and they feel really nice. They're like really quick to actuate, even though they're just membrane. There's no like horrible pre-travel. There is a little bit of post-travel if you really click it down and then push. So there is a bit of post-travel, but actually when you're playing it and you're like pressing stuff and then moving to another button, like it's quick, you know. And I actually quite like the kind of domed shape that they've got and how far they stick out. That's quite nice, right? The triggers just here, again, feel nice. They're consistent, they're easy to access. There's no like horrible travel or anything like that. They are quick to sort of reset, if that makes sense. The triggers, now on my left trigger, this one just here, I can hear like a spring or something like clicking just a little bit. Doesn't happen on the right side. So maybe that's just my unit. I don't know if this is like a pre-release unit or not. I've no idea, but that's something that I've noticed. But it didn't hinder gameplay, right? When I'm actually playing the game, you don't really feel that like chink, you know, you don't feel it. So when I've been playing stuff with like the volume on and stuff, it's been fine, but I was testing this with all the game volume off, and I was like, hang on a second, I can hear that little noise, so that's there as well. But yes, they are analog Hall effect analog triggers just here, and they've been really nice. I've been playing a lot of Hot Wheels 2 actually on Game Pass on the ROG Ally just here, and really nice with this controller. Really nice, like it a lot. And a lot of people will actually like the fact that there's no back paddles, because they're not getting in the way, you know, like this sits in your hand. You're not worrying about back paddles. I know AJ, if you don't know him, he's on our podcast. Go check out the podcast, right? He doesn't like back paddles, whereas I actually really like back paddles. I'm so used to using them now, like it's just second nature to me. But I know a lot of people don't like them, so you're probably happy to see that this doesn't have any, maybe. Right, the D-pad, it's okay, but it is pretty mushy. I kind of like the weird sort of low profile concave on it. Like, it feels nice under your thumb, but it's when you start moving it, it's just a little bit spongy. I'm gonna be honest. The sticks themselves, perfect, like really nice. The only way they could make this just a bit better, but it would probably increase the price, so there's no real point, is putting those metal anti-friction rings on the like underneath of the cap just there, just to make it that little bit more buttery smooth. So now we are in Gears of War 5. I still can't wrap my head over the fact that we can play this game and many others like it on a handheld like the Asus ROG Ally just here. But yeah, this controller has been really nice. I've been testing this for a little while now, and I've been using it exclusively on this, really. I have tried it on a couple of other systems, but I've just mainly been playing this. So it's been really good. The sticks are lovely. You know, I've been getting really good accuracy out of these sticks just here. They feel really nice. I'm not having any like jitter or sticking or anything like that. I've just been having a great time playing some games with this, and again, it feels really nice in the hand. Like I like how it sits in my hand just here. Everything fits nicely, and those face buttons, I do really like them. I actually really like them, and I really like the texture because they're like satin. So I forgot to mention this earlier, but they're like a satin sort of feel. Really like it, actually. It's pretty good. The biggest letdown for me so far is the D-pad and the fact that it's got that slightly clicky, like trigger just there. But I mean, honestly, for the price point, this is really good. But anyway, there are some extra features. So let's go over turbo. So we're gonna press M and then I'm just gonna press B, right? And now I've assigned turbo. So if you don't know what turbo is, it's just gonna repeat that action for me without me having to press the button load. So it's actually really good on the buttons, so you're not decreasing their lifespan by pressing them loads, but it can just make games easier as well. So I'm just gonna press and hold B, look, and he's just gonna keep slashing away for me without me having to press each time, you know, that I wanna do it. So, you know, I can just press and hold and it's gonna do it for me. Now, I can actually increase or decrease the rate. So there's 3 different fire rates essentially for that turbo. So how many times it's gonna press it per second. So there's like a slow, medium, and a high. So if I press M and then left, you can see that like sort of moved. If I press right and then right again, I'm not too sure if you'll see it because of the shutter speed of my camera. So I'm gonna go all the way to the left. See how that's like slow flashing, faster flashing, and then that spams really quickly, but it might look slow on the camera because of the shutter speed, right? But those are the 3 different settings. Obviously with this game, he just kind of goes no matter how many times you're pressing the button. He's got like a set action, but if it was a quick action, then it would be doing it like really fast or really slowly. So that's something you can actually tailor to your preference. If you want to cancel it, then you just press M and that button again. And now if I press and hold it, he's just going to do it once because now it's just acting like a normal button. Now we can adjust the RGB LED effect. So if I double press M, it's going to vibrate for me and say, hey, you're in like light mode now. So if I use the left joystick up, there we go, and down, it sort of changes through various effects. So there's like breathing and all this kind of stuff. Like there's a bunch of different effects as well, and you can adjust that via that. If I press it left or right, it's actually going to change the color. So I've not really bothered playing around with the RGB LEDs, to be fair. I've just left them as like stock. But there we go, let's go green and pink. If I double click M, now it's gone out of the like assign mode. And now I've just turned the lights off with M and left stick in, so L3. So if I press M, left stick in again and again and again, that's the brightest I think, and then it goes off. So there's like off, 1, 2, and 3, and that's like maximum brightness just there. But it does look pretty cool. Obviously I've got a massive light up there on, but yeah, it does look pretty striking when you're actually playing. But of course you can turn that off and get even better battery life. Now yeah, this just has standard like rotary rumble, but it's actually quite nice. It's not like a horrible tinny like, you know, like it's a nice big sort of swinging motor, and I quite like that. There's 5 different adjustments. So to adjust the rumble, it's M and then just up or down. So if you go all the way down, it will go 0, then 25%, 50, 75, and 100. And to be honest, I'd say 50% is pretty good. Even 25% is quite good, actually. I prefer it a little bit more subtle than like really, really in your face, you know, but you've got those options just there, which is pretty cool. And it's quite a nice feeling rumble, especially for a cheap controller like this, a budget controller. I'm really enjoying this, especially when you take into consideration like just how good of a budget this is. So for me, I've been really enjoying the EasySMX X05. I actually think it's pretty cool. I'm a bit sad they didn't send me the, you know, the pink and black one, but I mean, the lime one just here is really good. I mean, green is my favorite color, you know, but I actually quite like this a lot. I just think the black and pink one looks really cool. But for the price point, this could be a really good controller. Whether you're someone that's looking for getting their kid a controller or something, or if you just want yourself a multi-platform controller, or if you're like me and you spent all your money pre-ordering the Asus Ally X just here, because this one isn't mine. After testing this one, I've actually put a pre-order in, and they're really expensive. So this is actually a good alternative if you're looking for a controller to use with this. I actually really like this a lot. So if you're interested in a budget controller with some actual really good specifications like Hall Effect sticks, again, if you don't know what that is, effectively they use magnets and they will not drift. They are much more accurate and there's less dead zone. Really, really good. I mean, this is so specced out for the price point. I'm really happy that EasySMX have made something really accessible for so many people, and it's a decent controller. Obviously there's a couple of minor like build quality issues in terms of like mine has a dodgy trigger and like it rattles just a little bit, but ultimately I could look past those things because of the amazing value. So what do you think of the EasySMX X05? Let me know down in the comments whilst you're down there. Like this video, subscribe, become a member, and you can see these videos early, and you can access our private Discord where we've got some awesome members in there. You can hang out and chat to me and AJ, and talking about AJ, I don't know. We're in the podcast together over here where we talk about all things gaming, and check out another video from me down here. Bye.